Hey folks, we're back with another video and we're back with another mini crawler. This one is the SCX24 from Axial. Let's get it out of the box and let's have a good look. Okay, so here it is folks, the SCX24 from Axial. This is the Chevy C10 version, or one of two Chevy C10 versions. I went for the gunmetal grey. There's also a nice kind of vintage green coloured one. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time talking about the stock truck because it's a pretty well-known truck at this stage. It came out about over a year ago now. And there's lots and lots of videos out there. So we'll just have a quick breakdown of it. So it is obviously a 1/24th scale Chevy C10, 1967. It runs on a 350 mAh 2S LiPo that it comes with. Comes with another little USB charger. Actually looks a little bit better than the one that came with the FMS FJ Cruiser. It's a Lexan body. Comes with a couple of little LEDs in the bumper. It is a completely ready to run truck. So even to the point where it includes batteries for the controller in the box. So it is totally ready to run. Everything you need is in the box to get you going, which I really like and is very rare. Although I have seen one or two videos about this that say the batteries that come with it for the controller are a little bit dodgy, but they might have been one-offs, who knows, but I've put some rechargeables in there anyway. The body detail is quite nice, it looks good, it's got this nice kind of Fall Guy style light bar on the back. These aren't real lights and they're not buckets either, you can't put lights in there. If you wanted lights up there you'd have to 3D print or buy something. So the tyres are nice and soft and squidgy. They are vented. There are no foams in there at all. They're a licensed BF Goodrich tyre, but they don't feel very sticky. The compound is soft, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be particularly grippy. They are licensed Method wheels, but they're not bead locks. These tyres are glued on here. And the body is a fully licensed body as well. So it is kind of one of the more expensive SCX24s. I picked this one up for about £120 on Amazon, which was the cheapest place I could find it actually. I did try my local and online hobby shops and they were all about £10 more expensive, plus some delivery in some cases. So in this case Amazon was the way forward. I will put you some links in the description for that and a couple of the other models like the Jeep and the Deadbolt. As I say, it's got a couple of nice little lights in the front bumper, although they are bright white, which kind of doesn't really fit with the age of the truck. It has a worm gear differential setup, which is a little bit different to a lot of the crawlers that you might be used to that might have a ring and pinion gear. It works really well. It means that it is a pretty slow truck, although I think I've been running it so far on... Oh no, I've been running it on high, so... Yeah, it's pretty slow. So let's just give you a quick top speed and low speed. So I'll put it in the lowest setting on the controller. And as you can see, it does crawl very slowly. I don't think it will have a lot of torque at that point. No, it stalls out really easily. You have to give it a lot more throttle, but it gets over. And then full speed in the lowest setting is really not very fast. I love that you can do full speed tests with these on a table. And then in the highest setting you can still get it to crawl pretty slowly. And again, it still does stall out, but that's, that's typical for brush motors. That goes over there quite happily. And then full speed is a little bit more respectable, but still not spectacular. But again, as I said on the FMS FJ video, these things are not meant to be fast. They're not meant to be raced. They're meant to be, you don't even take them out really for a trail walk. because they're not going to work particularly well on the sorts of trails that you would typically take a trail truck out on. And that's purely down to the size, not down to the capability. The thing to remember with these little guys is, you know, the obstacles that you put them over need to be the right scale. There's no point trying to crawl this thing over logs and rocks that you would take a 1/10 scale over, because they're just not going to do it. So you have to scale your obstacles down accordingly. Once you do, they are perfectly capable little things. Let's have a look underneath. Now you'll have to ignore the fact that I've already started to make some tweaks and changes to this. You perhaps won't be surprised by that, but I've already added some extra lights. I will do a separate video about that another day, but I'll show you them in a moment. Underneath the hinged body, you have an all-in-one sort of ESC and receiver, and a little motor the size of which I will put on the screen because I can't see it at the moment. 88T I think it is. So fairly small little thing hooked up. They are stamped steel chassis rails, but everything else is very, very, very soft plastic. There's all sorts of flex and bendiness in here, and there's a lot of slop in the steering, which I've found quite frustrating so far. But I've seen online a way to fix that, so I'll be doing that as soon as possible. And of course I will show you that when we get to it. As a standard little truck, it's very cool. I've had it out in the garden, had a bit of a play with it with my lad, and yeah, we had a whale of a time, or at least I did. He got bored in a few minutes, as is usually the way. I need to talk to that boy quite sternly. But, and they have got very, very, very fiddly body clips. But that's essentially it, really. There's not much to say. It's 4-link suspension at front, although the 2 top links are joined together. So I don't know if that makes it 4-link or 3. 4-link in the rear. This C10 is the longer wheelbase. I think the Jeep is the same. I think that's a longer wheelbase. And the Deadbolt is a slightly shorter wheelbase. And they are friction shocks, as is the case with a lot of these things. So it's very wibbly wobbly. I'll quickly show you the LEDs. Where is the on-off radio first? So the white LEDs that it comes with are set into the bumper, but there are LED light cups or light buckets in the front behind the bumper as part of the bumper setup. So I've utilised those already and put some warm white lights in there so that they look a bit more period. And I have designed a mount for the back so that I could put some just little red LEDs in the rear just to give it some tail lights. It's a super simple little job. You do have to scratch a bit of paint off the inside at the rear just so that it shines through the sticker rather than through the paint, but I think that came out quite well. They're not super bright, but they're bright enough. And the ones on the front are nice and bright, and you can really see where you're going with those, so very, pretty happy about that. There's going to be a lot of little videos about this little thing. I've already on the bench, you perhaps can't see it, but there's a lot of mess on that bench already. There are already a bunch of parts, so I've got some new wheels and tyres for it. I've got some wheel weights that I might use, I might not, because on something this small, I don't know if I really want to add rotational weight. I kind of get away with it with a bigger 1/10, but this might struggle. And I already have some brass diff covers on the way from A-Main and some brass steering knuckles as well. They're Samex branded ones, I think I went with. So we'll see how they get on and just see if we can just drop that centre of gravity a bit. We'll definitely be looking at the shocks to see if we can soften those. They're not too bad. I mean, they are quite springy for friction shocks, but we'll see how it goes. So I hope you found that little video useful. Like I say, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the standard car because there's plenty of videos out there for that already, and what I want to do is get stuck into those upgrades. I'm really looking forward to sort of messing about and getting some upgrades onto this little thing. So we will show you some videos of those in the coming weeks as things arrive and as we put them on the truck and try them out. I'm hoping that over the next couple of weeks as well we can make some progress with the garden crawler course, although I am now tempted to do an indoor one because the weather's going to get pretty bad fairly soon, so it might be better to do some indoor course for the garage. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, it would be awesome if you could, and then you'll find out when the next videos in this series come along. I'll put some links in the description as to where you can pick up one of these or another SCX24. We will see you in part 2.